Okay. All right. Long time. I hope everyone's doing well. That you're all doing well. That you all had a good time with your exams and everything, and that you're on good health. Sorry, I haven't been here for a while because work purposes. Um, Obviously being sick and everything, but here I am, happy to be with you today. So I'm going to teach you something very simple, but I think you'll like this. Okay, let me put it that way. You'll like it. So I hope you can see the screen and see how at the top here you've got models, you've got electric, you've got building price, you've got shop online, okay, and you got offers and you've got more BMW. All right. Now, supposedly I clicked models. Okay. It takes me to a different page. Okay. And this is the page where you can see the cars that you want to look at or potentially purchase. Let's say you go to building price, you click that, does the same thing, right? But what if you go to offers, for example? So if you go to offers, you see it opens a different page where you get different, you know, um, options where it explains like finance and everything. So the whole point of this is basically, sorry, Salim, did you say you cannot hear me or,
Yeah, I can't.
wait, hang on. Yeah, I can't really raise my voice because I'm still sick, but I'll see if I can do something. Um, Sorry, one second. All right. Can you confirm if you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So, as I was saying, the the idea of today's lesson is to build something like this, where if you click a certain part of the navigation, you go to a different page. Rather than me speaking, I'd rather show you what we need to do. Okay. So up to this point, you guys have just been doing everything on one page. You have your index.html, where you'd put your CSS, your JavaScript, and everything. And that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. So let's put here and say, I don't know. Let's just go Nike. Well, actually, let's say welcome to online shopping. Okay, for example. So this is where you'd reach and you'd have everything, okay? And just to make it fun, let's just go online and get a picture. Who should we get? Uh, let's say girl in hoodie. All right. For example, we're just experimenting. Okay. Well, that's looking a bit funny. Uh, ah, yikes, yikes, yikes. Uh, let's search for kids in winter clothing. Okay, cool. Let's take this picture for now. Okay, this is what we want to use. I just want to demonstrate something. So, um, I'm gonna save it. I've got a folder here called Pages. That's what we're using. I'm just going to call this main. Let me just call it kid, for example. Okay. So it's going to be kid.jpeg. Right. Now, things are going to get messy. Okay. So what I'll need to do is I'll create a folder inside here and I'll say image. Okay. Then I would move the file into the folder called image. That way it's neat. Now, let's just put the image inside this, shall we? Let's just go image. Okay. And we take it from image to kid.jpg. All right. I can just put kid inside this. So we've got this image and that's all fine and dandy. Now let's create a CSS file, style.css. And we'll just go image, display block with 100%. Okay. The reason we want to make it 100% so it stops being this massive. Okay. So it constrains to the device. Now, nothing's happening because we haven't linked the file to the HTML. So we go link, and then as soon as you type link, it'll give you options. Select the third one here, okay? And then it will hyper reference style.css. This can be called anything. We can literally change this. We can literally change the name of this to tar tender, okay? And rename this to tar tender. It's still going to work. Yeah, see? No issues. All right. It's just conventionally, it's called style.css. That's what they do, but you can call the file anything. I just hope you guys have noticed this. But does anyone have any questions before I go forward? No? Okay. Now, the next thing I want to show you is supposedly you go to the top here. Okay. Let's introduce. Sorry, I'm going, Philip. Hello.
Sorry. Hey, I not was random.
It's okay. It's okay. All right. So imagine we get to this page, and I'll introduce another tag called NAV. NAV navigation. Now, at the very start, I remember teaching you guys about HTML semantics. You probably have forgotten, but that's okay. I'm always here to remind you. Okay, where you break down your page into several components, right? So you get the header, the navigation, the section, then the footer. So a clear example of this was that BMW website, which I showed you, and I'll demonstrate, where you've got the navigation here. I don't know if you can see it because Salim is drawing all over it. But this top section, right, that's a navigation. See this stuff that's got models, electric, build price, and everything. Everything down the bottom here, that's a footer, okay? And everything in between is a section. So we want to build this navigation, okay? It's very simple. It's nothing too chaotic, I hope. And how do we achieve that? Simple. So you guys have been using anchor tags, but you probably haven't noticed it, okay? So the anchor tag that we have here, right, we're going to call it home, for example. Okay, and let's just save it and see what happens when we get there. See, now we've got something called home on our page. Now, what if we want to have a link that goes to a page for women's clothing, for example. So what if we click something like this and it takes us to a different page for women's clothing? And for fun, let's do the same thing. Let's create another link that goes to men's clothing, shall we? And lastly, let's just create a link that says contact us. Okay. So you might be wondering, what do these double quotation marks mean? So this is where you'd put the location to the page. Rather than me explaining it, let me just show it to you, okay? So we go back to our folder structure here, right? You guys have been used to creating index.html. Now let's create another page, shall we? What do we call it? Women's clothing, okay? So click plus over here for new file and just type women's, okay, one word, dash or hyphen, clothing dot html. Simple. Okay. Now, what you can do is you can literally just copy and paste what's in index into women's clothing, right? And change the title to women's clothing. Okay. So you can change it to this, women's clothing. Now, what's going to happen is you need to be careful. So let's change the title to women's clothing, shall we? Okay. And then let's find a picture here of, let's say, women in hoodie. I just want hoodie, for example, that's all. Yeah. There's not many options, but okay, we'll take this one, for example. Okay, so let's download. Right, so I'll just name this woman and then I'll save it. Now, remember what I said at the very start. Things are going to get hectic. Files are going to get massive on this list. So let's just click and drag this file into the folder called image. See, just organization, in my opinion, makes things a bit more neat. Okay. Now, if we remove kids and put / and go woman, and this alternative text, you can just change it to woman. Nothing happened yet. Why? Because if you go back to the index.html page, this is what we're looking at. But we want to say if we click women's clothing, it should take us to the women's clothing.html page. How do we do that? Simple. Inside these double quotes, I hope you guys can see it. I'll just make it a bit big for your sake. Sorry. Just like that. Type women's clothing.html. Okay, and let's save it. Now, if I come here to women's clothing, watch what happens when I click it. Ah, interesting, right? If you look closely at the link, it's actually changed to / women's clothing.html as opposed to when you first go to the home page, right? If you go to the home page, which I'll fix, right? I'll click, I'll copy this into this, sorry. And then we'll put a / here to fix the home page. All right. So let's say we want to go back to the home. So we click that. It goes back to this. I don't know if you noticed the difference, okay? So initially when we start our page, it might, on your laptop, it might say 127.0.0.1. That's okay. It's still the same thing because 127.0.0.1 is the same as saying localhost. Okay, this is what it would look like on your machine. Okay, but if I click women's clothing, watch how it changes. Okay, see? It changes to 127.0.0.1 and then the port number 5500 / women's clothing.html. I might make this a bit bigger so you can see. Is anyone following me or have I lost you? Does anyone have a question?
So we're following.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Audrey. Right. So now that we've done this, let's just go ahead and create 2 extra pages, okay? So we have we've got the home page, right? This is the home page. We've done the women's clothing. Let's go ahead and create the men's clothing.html. All right. And let's also create the contact us.html. All right. Now, remember what I say. Rather than you guys having to type everything, okay, I'd prefer if you just Control A to copy everything, and then Control C, right? Open the men's clothing, Control V to paste it. Or you can right click and then paste. It's the same thing. Just remember to change to men's clothing for the title, save. For the navigation, do the same. Go men's clothing. And for contact, because we've got this file here that says contact us, write contact us.html. Perfect. So men's clothing seems to be sorted. Now, let's fix the others, like the women's clothing page. So we want to put the men's clothing here, and we want to put the contact us page here as well. Perfect. Oh, sorry. We forgot to put, let's say, men in jacket, because we want a men in jacket picture or something to make sure that we distinguish our pages. Okay. All these pictures are so random, but okay. All right, let's take him. I don't mind this picture. All right. And yeah, Salam, I don't know. You're drawing lines all over my screen. We'll name this man and then save. I don't know if you guys can still see the screen based on Salam doodling. I hope you can still see the screen. And then if we go to men's clothing, right, we want to change the image because remember I saved it in image folder here. We want to call the men.jpg. All right, just like that. Now watch what happens. So home is the little baby with a picture. Women's is the lovely lady in the black hoodie. What happens if we click men's clothing? You see? Now we've got that picture. Okay. Get that picture happening, which is perfect. It means our code's working. All right. So let's just copy this in men's clothing and let's paste it into contact us, but let's change it to contact us. And let's just say We don't need an image in this one. You can just say sorry, maybe I'll remove I'd say contact us. So contact us, and let's say for any information, please call Leon on blah blah blah, or email Audrey at blah blah blah. Okay, for example. So if we go to contact us, see, we don't have an image, we just have that for any information, please call Leon on, let's say you have a number here, or email Audrey at blah 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 blah. But if we click men's clothing, we go back. We get women's clothing, we go back. If you want to go to the home page, same thing. We go back to the cute little baby. All right, so this is what I wanted to teach you today, because it's something you guys need to know, because I'm hoping when you guys go on a break next month, I'm going to teach you how to do a full-fledged website, but I thought I'd introduce this now before we go there. Plus, you've been revising a lot of stuff, so I just thought I'd make things a bit neat and a bit nicer, okay, before, chaos ensues. That's right, Salim. If you're not doing it, it's okay, but yeah, just try not to do it all over the screen. All right. Now, the only thing left to fix is the index page, because we forgot the men's clothing and the contact us. Now, this is wrong. It's meant to be a /. Okay. So remember what I told you, that this is going to get hectic. Okay. Now we've got a lot of HTML files. Imagine your website has 10 pages and this is what it looks like. It's going to get messy. Okay. So what can you do? You can put it in a folder. Okay. So let's create a folder here and say pages. Okay. So I'm just going to click and select this. I'm going to hold down the control, click select men's clothing, continue holding down control, and then click and hold women's clothing. I can also select, but for the sake of this tutorial, if for the sake of this tutorial, because I'm teaching you like a combination of keys, just drag and drop into pages for now. Okay, just like that. But now, because we've done this, we actually have to update our code. How do we do that? So here, it has to be pages now, you see? So pages, women's clothing, pages / men's clothing, and pages / contact us. And if we click women's clothing now, you see, it does the same thing. Now, you get an error because you have to update the links now, okay? You'd have to update because the page women exists inside the folder pages, you'd have to do some trickery to make it look at page. All you have to do really is just go ... that's it, or ... like that, and everything will work. But I don't want to do this. I just wanted to show you how you can organize files. So in this instance, don't do this. You can just hold down Shift and select everything, and then drag it outside to how it was. Okay, and then delete that. All right, so delete the pages folder, and then just fix the home page like we did. Okay, so get rid of pages like that, and everything is super simple. Then that's it. So now we're going to get an error. It's simple. Just select everything after this, delete, and then click that. And then if we start clicking the links again, voila, everything works as normal. All right, that was all for today's lesson. I'll briefly summarize what I've expanded on based on the teachings and every revision that you've done. So in the past, you've learned how to put images into your HTML page. You've also learned how to put audio files into your HTML page. You've basically learned how to use videos in your HTML page. So that's media, that's covered. Okay, so it's this part. You've learned header tags, which basically signal, okay, we're looking at this page called women's clothing, for example, or men's clothing. Okay. You've learned anchor tags before, but not to this extent. Now, anchor tags can be used for a lot of things, but this is mainly what they're used for linking different pages. So think of an anchor tag as, I don't know, think of like as a uh, contact book. I don't know what you call those things, like yellow books. Yeah, yellow pages, something. Yeah, think of it like this, where, there's a list of like numbers in a directory, okay? And it tells you that number so and so links to different people, right? So think of anchor tags as that. You can actually do much more than that. You can actually, let's say I'll show you an example. So in the homepage, let's say an anchor tag here, and let's say email for inquiries. Okay, so let's say you have a question, you want to get an answer. You can actually say mail to, okay, now let's just put a random email, to tender@fakeemail.com. Okay, so if someone actually clicks this, it's going to attempt to send an email to that address. All right, you can actually do that with an anchor tag. You can actually do the same thing with a phone number, okay? You can actually say A, and let's say tell 027 blah blah blah. It's a random number. This doesn't exist. And say call for a quote. For example, if someone actually clicks this, it's going to actually try and open a calling application. It could be Skype, it could be Viber, it could be WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, etc. Okay, you can do things like that. So anchor tags are really powerful, but in the simplest sense, they're used to link pages. Okay, so this is what I wanted to teach you guys, because I don't want you guys to just continue to do index.html, index.html. I want you guys to be creative, to at least know how to create one or two extra pages, okay? Because you can literally have your own website and say, hello, my name is Salim, okay? And then, but if you want to put more information like, oh, this is where I go in terms of school, sports, you can create a page where you detail your sports achievements, like whether you ran the 100-meter race you won, or you played discus, you do athletics, etc., etc. Okay, you can all do that on one page, but most websites, they have different pages. It's just like a book. You could read a book in a really long page, but books have different pages. There's page 1, there's page 2, there's page 3, then there's page 4, etc., etc. So there you go. That was today's lesson. Yeah, very quick and short one. Hope nothing too drastic that you haven't done. But yeah, does anyone want to ask something that they picked up on? Any need to knows? I'm happy to answer them now. Thank you.
Hello,
You?
sir.
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just asking you about the slide images and stuff. Because I feel like here they would work. Yeah. And
Yes. I purposely didn't do anything about that because I thought you would have forgotten, but thank you for reminding me. Okay. So sliding images HTML. Let me confirm if I know what you want to do. Is it something along the lines of wait, is it something along the lines of this? No. Wait, I know the perfect website. Is it something along the lines of this, where the image goes like that?
yes, sir.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah, I can teach you how to do this. It takes three things. Obviously, the images. It takes JavaScript, not too much really. And it just takes a bit of mathematical thinking. In fact, I can probably teach you how to do that tomorrow, because today's lesson was very simple. I'm pretty sure you guys won't forget this. It's that simple. So tomorrow I will teach you how to do sliding images, okay? Tomorrow's lesson, I promise.
Okay, sir. Okay.
All right.
You also have another question.
Yeah, yes.
So okay, when you like creating a website and stuff, oh no, like the animations and the transitions, like on a website and stuff. Like, I don't know if it makes sense, but yeah, say it won't make sense much. But like, do you use PowerPoint or what? I don't know.
For transitions,
Or
no. I know what you're saying. No, you can make transitions without PowerPoint, purely with CSS. I can demonstrate to you now. So, let's do it for Tatenda's sake, because Tatenda hasn't been here for a while. Salim already knows how to do this because she's smart. Okay. So let's say body. Okay, this is the body, this is the page. Let's go to our tatenda.css file. Okay, now for the body, let's say we want to make it minimum height 100 view H. Okay, and let's say what do I want to do? Transform. Let's go scale Y. Okay, 1. But if we put 0, it disappears. If we put 0.5, it kind of appears. And then 1 is when it's back to full screen. Okay. And let's go transform origin. Let's go bottom, because I want to see what that looks like. Okay. So let's say our screen wipes from the bottom to the top every time you load the page. All right. Let's put opacity 0, for example. Let me just copy this into our code. And thank you for raising this question. It's very nice because I like how you're thinking of animations already, which is good. So we've already learned about animation. So we'll go animation, let's just call it page transition or page wipe. sorry, page wipe. Okay. Let's give it a duration of what, 1 second. Okay. Ease in just for the smooth transition. And let's put 1, so it runs once and we go forwards. Okay. So this is the duration, how long it should take. The smoothness, run only once, and forwards, okay. Unordered list. So forwards, it just means run it once, don't repeat, because you can actually go infinite and it repeats, but just go forwards, okay. Right, so at keyframes, now every time the page is executed, we want page wipe to run. So you can go 0% or 100%, or as Brother Philip has already told you, or said Philip, you can go sorry, I think it's from, yeah, to, can't remember now. I prefer to use percentages, sorry, 0%, 100%, makes sense to me. So initially opacity is 0. Scale should be 0, okay? So the scale should be 0, all right? And then at 100%, the page should be visible and scale Y should be 1. You see? So imagine if we're loading each page, it's going to do this. You see? So we've actually applied a transition. How are we achieving this? Because we're applying it to the body. Okay, so every time the page is executed, it calls the animation itself. It literally executes the animation. And then you apply the transition like this. You see that?
Yeah, I think so.
There you go. So you don't need PowerPoint, but PowerPoint is good if you want to prototype. But yeah, you can do page transitions like this. Now, I could have gone a bit further. Actually, let me go a bit further because this is your problem, Audrey. You've started a war, but I'm happy to oblige. Okay. Let me make a position relative. Okay. Now I'll turn off the animation for now. Okay. Oh, sorry. And the opacity and transform. Let's just go back to how everything was. Now, let's say we want an animation where it starts off with a color, and then once the color wipes off, the page becomes visible. I'll demonstrate rather than speaking. So, let's say body. I haven't taught you guys about pseudo elements, but I'll go ahead and do them, and then I'll explain at some point. Okay. So let's go position absolute, top 0, left 0, with 100%, height 100%. Background, I know Salim likes yellow. Okay, so let's just put yellow for now, shall we? And now, oops, sorry. Let's just copy that into our code. Now, I want to remove this padding, like these white paddings and margins. So I'll go margin 0, padding, sorry, 0, and box sizing, border box. So everything is just full screen. Perfect. Now, we want the yellow to be white. Essentially, we want the yellow to do the exact same thing we did. In fact, I'm going to change top to bottom. So height's going to be 50%, for example. So we want, hang on, what the heck? So let's go top, bottom. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll stick to transform then. transform scale y 0.5. Okay. And let's go transform. So transform origin tells us where we want the animation to start. We want it to start from the bottom. So we want this to wipe. So once it wipes, okay, there's not going to be anything on the screen. It's going to be a blank page, but once this finishes wiping, okay, it's going to reveal the page. So let's just leave it as 0 for now. I'll demonstrate what I'm trying to do. All right. Just bear with me. Okay. So essentially, for Madam Audrey, what we can then do is we can then apply the animation page wipe to the pseudo element. Okay. And let's say, yeah, so the animation, every time you load the page, it would start like this. But let's say for body, I wonder if this would affect it. Visibility hidden. I want to see if this would. Yeah, see, that would be detrimental. It'll be affected. So let's make this 0.8. 0.8. Oh, sorry. Yep. So let me start with 0.8. We go to 1. We didn't really use opacity, so let's just get rid of this. Okay. It's a bit slow. Let's make it 0.5 seconds. Okay. Maybe we do need opacity. It's a bit slow. I don't like it. 0. So opacity 0. Opacity 1. Not overflow. Opacity 1. Okay. So what we want to do is, let's say once this finishes, it then displays the page. Now, how do we cheat? How do we do that? So we've changed transform origin to bottom. Now, let's say we go top. Once it finishes the animation, we go top, and then let's go down to 0, shall we? Wait. 2. Wait. What the heck? Or can we go hide 0? No. Wait, I know what to do. I always like to cheat the system. So why don't we go translate y minus 50%? 100%. Come on, give me something. Is it possibly due to this? Maybe. So let's try this. So let's say content. I'll have to make it a bit neat, but the base concept for this is we can go content and sets. Let's see what happens. I didn't even finish. Oh, that was not fair. So let me move this to 70%. It didn't even finish. All right. Well, time's up. I am going to see if I can create a transition, and then I'll post it on Slack. Okay. And then tomorrow I'll explain how I did it. Okay. Fortunately, we've run out of time, but at least I've kind of given you an idea that you can do it without PowerPoint. But yeah, I'll create a transition where it basically does the page wipe, where I'll show you page wipe transition. Yeah, not that. Yeah, something like that, where it's like the page goes up and stuff like that. So I'll do it. And then I'll post something on Slack before tomorrow's lesson. But yeah, thanks for coming today, guys. I was really happy to see you guys. So today's lesson is over. I'll post this code after this. But tomorrow, as requested, I'll do sliding images and the page transitions. Okay. Over to you, Mr. Philip.